Good news, everyone! It looks like Paramount is off of my case, so the new format's good to go.
Damn, I was really hoping we would get a follow-up on that knee threat.
Don't give up hope yet.
Thanks, guys. You always have my back. Kinda.
It's the least I can do.
Probably more than I should do. So get on with it, episode boy.
Okay, pushy. Whatever. You guys ever had a midnight movie marathon?
That's what we've been doing for over a year straight, dumbass.
Only about 10 weeks for me.
Right, I forgot that's what we do. You know, when you spend so long locked in a room with all your friends, you just lose track of a lot of things. Like the details. Well, anyway, we are watching The Tale of the Midnight Madness. It's the story of a kid that works in a failing movie theater before they find surprising success with a creepy old vampire movie. And sure, we've seen it before, but have we seen it with telepathic door unbarring? I think not. It's a pretty strange one. So let's just roll that film. Roll that good vampire film. We start at the bonfire with Kiki and David rushing to get through the story because they have tickets to a Fright Night event at the movie theater. Frank cuts them off short and lets them know he's never going back to one of those things ever again, because when you're sitting in the theater for so long, you don't know where the movie ends and reality begins.
Sounds like my kind of movie.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
I don't know, it sounds a little far-fetched. Like, how can a monster from a screen just breach into the real world?
Really?
Frank starts his story, The Tale of the Midnight Madness, and we see a kid named Pete and a kid named Katie that are working at a failing movie theater. We see that the manager of the movie theater is complaining to the kids because they only made $6 in sales on a Friday night, which seems impossible because $6 doesn't get you anything. Not even like a small popcorn. Pete assures the manager that they'll never close this theater down because it's historical, it's a landmark to the town. But just to play it safe, he does start a leaflet campaign, going out and passing out flyers to try and get more people to come to the theater. Until one day, Pete and Katie clock in, and then they hear a banging on the door, and in comes a familiar face, Dr. Vink.
With a vuh.
Oh my god, not this guy again.
He just keeps showing up, and they keep reminding us of two things. It's not Fink, and he's not a nutbag.
I think we get it already.
Vink is just smitten by the theater. He is gushing about everything in every room all over the theater. And then when the manager comes to kick this crazy old guy out, it turns out that Vink has some ulterior motives. He saw the flyers that Pete was handing out and decided he's going to try his hand at helping this business. As it turns out, he was a filmmaker in a past life, and he has a special unreleased film that he's allowing the theater to show. They just have to put it on one night, and he promises that business will boom.
For all we know, that could just be 45 minutes of Vink jacking off.
That would be pretty horrifying, though.
That could play in some more niche theaters. I feel like the concept of adult movie theaters was much bigger in the 90s.
That's how they caught Paul Rubens.
Rest in peace, Pee-wee.
Moment of silence for Pee-wee and all of the fallen tug jockeys from theaters long ago. Anyway, Vink cuts the deal with the manager where he says, you put this film on, I promise business will boom, and if it does, you just have to give me one night a week to show any film I want. But the manager thinks Vink's a nutbag and says no dice, and he just puts the film in storage with no intent to show it. But that is until one night, the film reel of a midnight showing just burns up completely. And then Pete acts quickly, grabbing the only film available, which is Vink's, and tosses it on. And he tells all of the customers in the lobby, we're going to put a new movie on. If you don't like it, we can give you a refund. You know, how that sounds pretty good to me. The film Vink ends up giving them is a copy of Nosferatu. And the crowd loves it so much, they're raving about it, they want to come back and watch it again. I don't think he's allowed to just claim that he made Nosferatu.
Isn't it public domain?
Yeah, but he didn't create it.
It's a reimagining, like The Wiz or The Nutty Professor.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but either way, the concept of making movies is probably what drove Vink insane and drove him out to the woods to start doing science experiments on human bodies. The manager decides to show Vink's film every Saturday night for a Midnight Madness event, and business booms. They're thriving. They are making so much more money, and they're actually getting the rights to show new films. This is crazy. This is big news. After a while, Vink drops back in the movie theater after a showing, and the manager is so appreciative of him. He says, "We'll pay you anything you want for this film reel." And Vink says, "No dice. I just want our original deal. I want to show whatever films I want one night a week." And you would think the manager wouldn't mind that with how much of a success his first film is, but he says, "No, I can't. I cannot do that because I'm getting good new movies in. I can't have old movies playing all the time." And after that, Vink leaves in dramatic fashion, basically telling them, "You don't want to honor your deal, you just wait and see what happens." So Vink is clearly a crazy guy, and the manager should just toss out the film and do something different.
How many weeks in a row do they plan on playing that one movie?
It had to be months because they went from the verge of bankruptcy to a thriving business.
Wouldn't the audience want something else?
Well, I mean, people still sell out theaters to watch Rocky Horror Picture Show or The Room, so I mean, it's not unheard of that one movie gets, a lot of customers. But still, if the general theme is just horror movies, why not just pick something else? There's so many of them out there. Pete decides to really study the Nosferatu film after a midnight showing to really understand why it's resonating so well with all these customers. Why do they keep coming back? But it's so late, he starts to kind of fall in and out of sleep. But he swears he sees the vampire from the film walk out of the screen. But when he opens his eyes fully, nothing seems different. He goes out to the lobby to kind of explain to Katie what he had just saw and how crazy it is. But they're interrupted by the sound of the manager screaming. After rushing to the scene, the two find the manager slumped over at his desk with 2 puncture wounds in his neck.
Now we're getting to the good stuff.
Right, like the vampire in this is so creepy looking. His design is so close to Count Orlok that it just works really well. And the actor, Chris Heyerdahl, went on to play a vampire again in the Twilight Saga as Marcus Volturi.
How do you know that?
Yeah, did you have a Twilight phase?
I thought they would be scary, okay?
So you watched all of them?
Jump scares happen at any moment. You can't just stop watching. Anyway, the kids run out of the office and try to leave the theater, but when they open the doors, all they find is the vampire from the movie in real life. So they run off and barricade themselves in an office. But a barricade's no match for a vampire, apparently, because he just telepathically raises the barricade and unlocks the door, pushing his way through. So they run over to the projection room where Pete gets the idea that he's going to put Vink's film roll on, and then he himself is going to walk through the film. The way the vampire stalks the kids through the theater is genuinely creepy as hell. And I mean, I'll put some clips up here and you'll see it, but if you don't see it, then just know that Paramount got on my ass again, and you'll probably just see a jump cut here. Wasn't that creepy? Or if Paramount got on my ass, wasn't that annoying? So Pete ends up in the movie, and his plan is to try and change the ending by killing the vampire himself. And ultimately, he's able to bait the vampire over to a window, tear the curtains off, and he gets melted by sunlight. As soon as Pete walks back through the movie, everything is back to normal. The manager wakes up and he's cured from his blood drain, but sitting in the theater is Dr. Vink, clapping and so assured of himself. And we find out the reason for that is because he just bought the theater outright. He owns it. He has the deed and everything. And he plans to show all of his movies every night. And then we fade out with Vink laughing. Back at the bonfire, we see that David and Kiki are not super keen on going to their Fright Night event anymore, and they hand off their tickets to Frank and Gary, who happily take them. And then the episode's over. So Pete ended up saving the theater and the day, and his reward is Vink releasing more monsters out of the silver screen.
He could always just quit his job.
I think Pete would like being a movie monster tamer.
Yeah, I get that vibe too. And I mean, I'd watch a whole series of Pete just wrangling whatever monsters jump out of a Midnight Madness event. But this may be my favorite episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark so far. I mean, the theme of it, the monster design, it's all so good. It just really scratches the itch for me. And a part of this might be because when I was in high school, I saw a late night horror film called Midnight Movie.
Real original title.
Yeah, by all means, it's generic and incredibly dumb, but I love that movie because of the vibe and the theme. It's a movie theater showing an unknown director's horror movie where a serial killer jumps off a screen and terrorizes a theater full of kids. Well, teenagers, but you get the idea. And it's so stupid, but I love everything about it. Like, there's a scene where a cop is trying to shoot the killer, but he runs out of bullets. And instead of reloading or running away, he just like slaps the gun. It's so stupid. It's incredibly dumb, but great. Anyway, just giving you a little bit of background about why I enjoy this episode so much. It just really hits all the marks. And for that, I'm going to have to give The Tale of the Midnight Madness 5 buckets of popcorn out of 5. Check it out. And if you yourself are thinking about going to a midnight showing of monster movies, make sure it's one that you have heard of, because you don't want to end up in a 90s era jerk shack movie theater where they're playing like the porn parodies of something, like the 10-inch Mutant Ninja Turtles, or what's another one? I just had it on the tip of my tongue. It's the Pirates of the Caribbean one. The Hills Have Thighs. That was a good one. Check that one out. You hear that, kids? When you go home, watch The Hills Have Thighs and get back to me. That's your homework for the night. And I'll see you next time.
I couldn't have written it better myself.